I'm going to keep this straightforward because what matters most is whether this machine actually fits the workflow you've built, not just the headline numbers the manufacturer throws at you. If you're on the fence about spending a serious chunk of cash on a DTF setup, I get that you've probably heard the hype about 2x faster output and industrial-grade reliability, and you're wondering if those claims hold up when you're trying to meet real orders day after day. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'll walk through the parts that usually get overlooked, the kind of daily grind you'll face, and who really benefits from this kind of equipment. First off, let's talk about the environment you need to run a Procolored F13 Pro. This isn't a desktop printer you can slip onto a cramped desk. It's a full-size printer paired with an integrated shaker oven, which means you'll need at least a 10 by 12 foot space with good ventilation. The power draw is comparable to a small industrial machine, so a dedicated 220-volt circuit is recommended, otherwise you'll be tripping breakers in the middle of a run. Setting it up involves rolling out the film, threading the ink lines, and calibrating the heads, which takes about an hour the first time if you follow the manual step-by-step. The good news is that once it's calibrated, the software remembers the settings, and the shaker oven automates the pre-press step that usually requires a separate heat press. That automation is where the zero manual intervention claim starts to feel real. You load the printed film, the oven slides it in, and it finishes the transfer without you having to lift a foot press. Now, about the everyday use. In a typical high-volume shop, you're looking at printing anywhere from 100 to 300 shirts per day. With the dual XP600 print heads, the F13 Pro can keep up with that pace because it truly does lay down 2 passes at once, cutting the cycle time roughly in half compared to a single-head DTF printer. The 12-channel color configuration means you get deep, vivid colors even on dark fabrics, which is a big win if you're serving brands that demand premium looks. However, that color richness comes with a cost. The proprietary ink is pricier than standard CMYK DTF inks, and you'll be consuming more of it to keep the head saturated. I've seen shops that run a full day's worth of prints and have to top up the ink reservoirs at least twice. The heads themselves are rated for a 50,000-inch stable run, which translates to a few months of non-stop production before you start seeing any drift in print quality, but that figure assumes you're doing regular maintenance. Cleaning the print heads is not a once-a-week chore. You'll need to run a cleaning cycle after every 5,002,000 inches of printing, or you'll risk clogging, especially with the high-speed dual heads that push a lot of ink through narrow nozzles. What you'll love about this machine is the way it removes a bottleneck many small apparel shops face: the manual transfer step. The shaker oven does the heat press automatically, which means you can stack multiple jobs and let the machine handle them in sequence. For a shop that takes on bulk orders, think sports teams, corporate swag, or fashion lines that need quick turnarounds, that automation can shave hours off the production timeline. On the flip side, if your volume is more modest, say you're printing a few dozen shirts a week for a local boutique, the upfront investment and the ongoing consumable expense may not make sense. You'd be paying for speed you'll never actually need, and the space requirement alone could be a deal breaker for a home-based operation. So who should press by now? And who should walk away? If you already run a screen printing or sublimation business and are looking to add a high-throughput DTF line to diversify your offerings, the F13 Pro is a logical expansion. It's also a solid fit for a dedicated apparel brand that wants to keep design, print, and finishing in-house to cut shipping time and maintain tighter quality control. The machine shines when you have a steady stream of orders that justify the cost of ink, film, and the occasional head cleaning. On the contrary, if you're a hobbyist, a startup with only occasional print jobs, or a shop that can't commit to a dedicated 220-volt outlet, you'll likely find a lower-cost single-head DTF printer or even a traditional screen printing setup more appropriate. The hidden trade-off here is the balance between speed and ongoing operational costs. The printer will indeed double your daily output, but the ink consumption and maintenance time can erode those gains if you're not printing at scale. Bottom line, the Procolored F13 Pro delivers on its promise of high-speed, high-quality DTF printing, but it does so at a price point and with a footprint that only makes sense for a commercial environment with enough volume to keep the machine busy. The integrated shaker oven is the most compelling feature because it eliminates a